Welcome to the Weather Guru's 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Central Time update of Tropical Storm Bertha. Tropical Storm Bertha, as of Tuesday, July 21st, 2026, remains a mid-grade tropical storm at this time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me here on the Weather Guru. And right now, the winds are sustained at 60 miles an hour. Movement is moving a little bit quicker now, northwest at 6 miles an hour. And it's having a tough time here with wind shear and also the dry conditions to the north of the system and the east of the system, and that's producing a lopsided asymmetrical tropical storm. But nevertheless, it's expected to make landfall sometime tomorrow afternoon along the southeastern Louisiana coast and kind of just skirt and graze along the coast there. You can see tropical storm watches have been parried back and warnings have been parried back, extending from the Big Bend area of Florida all the way to the mouth of the Mississippi River. And tropical storm watches now have been parried down to just east of Lake Charles and Cameron Parish and extending into the New Orleans metro area as well as in Mississippi, Bay St. Louis, Pascagoula, those areas. But nothing too crazy with this system so far. In terms of rapid development, that's not going to be the case here with this heavy northerly shear, and as well as most of the convection, as you can see here on the infrared satellite in the red here. Most of the heavy thunderstorms are well south of the center and west of the center. And so even the rainfall forecasts have been parried back with this system here. You can see the projected rainfall with this system here. Most of the heavy rain, the 4 to 6 inches, are off the shoreline of the Louisiana coast. So with this system, Bertha is expected to produce 2 to 4 inches of rainfall with higher totals around 6 inches maximum through Thursday along the central Gulf Coast from western Florida to southern Louisiana. And so, it may produce some little ponding on the roadways or some fast flooding in urban areas, but nothing is expected to dramatically increase just due to the fact that there's so much dry air to the north of it and shear going on that it's going to keep most of the stuff, the heaviest rain off into the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America. So you can see here, the tracks are all in agreement here. The global ensemble models, if you will, computer models and AI models are all in agreement is that it's going to make landfall, a mini landfall along the Louisiana coastline, continue west, and it may dissolve into a trough or some kind of extratropical trough or something like that, and dissipate inland before it gets to Houston or Lake Charles or Beaumont. But we'll see how that goes. But it's degenerating faster than what they anticipated. And you can see the tropical storm winds in orange. Some of it's barely touching the coast here, maybe Fort Walton Beach, Pensacola Beach, Orange Beach, Alabama. Maybe getting gusts of tropical storm force winds right now, but most of the stuff is offshore, and there's orange level. As you can see, this orange coloring here. Nobody's getting tropical storm sustained winds yet or anything like that along the coastline here because the system it's compact, it's lopsided, and it's just that's what we're working with here with Bertha. But in any case, Bertha, the pressure was at 995 millibars. The reconnaissance planes just went in there about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago. They're making another pass before the 8 p.m. intermediate advisory and then 11 p.m. full advisory. And we expect it still to be a tropical storm, possibly weakening somewhat here, depending on how things go, with the system and the land, how much land interaction it has tomorrow with its first kind of landfall, so to speak. Looking at the water vapor here, you can see dry air in orange and yellow here in Texas, Louisiana. All this dry air is in the Gulf Coast states of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia. And just this, you can see Bertha's all of its moisture in green here, just pushed to the south, fanning out to the south here. And so it's very lopsided, very asymmetrical. And because the system has that warm water, it can't take advantage of the warm water down in the Gulf of America because it just doesn't have the right mechanics, organizational structure, and it doesn't have the favorable ingredients. At least it has only one of the favorable ingredients, which is warm water. You need no wind shear, you need a favorable environment in the upper levels, and you just don't have that here with Bertha. So the next name on the list is Cristobal. That'll be our next name for the Atlantic hurricane season. I do expect the Pacific hurricane season to continue to be ramping. It may be a record-breaking year because this is a super El Nino year out there in the Eastern Pacific. So I expect the Pacific names to continue to come every week by week, and they will be running out of names. It could be this season they may have to go to whatever nomenclature they do after that, maybe the Greek alphabet. We'll see later on in the year. But right now, the Atlantic, this is Bertha. And you can see also the tracks are in agreement. And like I said before, this system, the intensity, is not forecast to get to a hurricane. It's just not going to be getting any type of rapid development here right now. And the National Hurricane Center, in fact, says they see that it could be dissipating very quickly here after tomorrow night into Thursday. It could be making landfall, becoming a depression very quickly. And because it just doesn't have the oomph with it And so that's good news for those along the coast. Maybe it'll be good news for some of these drought busters here in southern Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and possibly into Texas, eastern Texas. Maybe it can be a drought buster for some of those areas that are still lacking the rain north and west of Houston, up in the Woodlands, Huntsville, or maybe to the west of I-45, I-49 corridor. So we'll see what happens with Bertha. But right now, winds are holding at 60 miles an hour. It's moving northwest at 6 miles an hour, and it's possible to expect a landfall along the southeast Louisiana coast wetlands at the mouth of the Mississippi, somewhere along there, within tomorrow, late tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, I'm gonna show that timeline one more time here. You can see let's show you there we go, the timeline here. It's now putting a landfall at 1 p.m. Wednesday or later on in the afternoon, and then it continues to skirt just along the coast there, the center of circulation, but most of the storms are pushed to the south of it, but the center of circulation here with this cone, it continues to push in towards Lake Charles, maybe by 1 p.m. Thursday, and then Friday it's supposed to be inland, somewhere north and west of the mouth of the Galveston Bay and Houston area, and then it continues to dissipate in central Texas there, providing that much needed rainfall that they need with the drought going on in that area. So it's the latest from Tropical Storm Bertha. Stay tuned for more. Hit that like, hit the subscribe button. This is Weather Guru signing off. Blessings.